Alright, I think that should do it. Hello everyone, it's time for a special live stream, I want to say. So, as you can see, I'm not doing the VTuber voice for this. There's a reason for that. Largely because, well, I'm doing something a bit special today. So for those who don't know, I've been going over a series with my girlfriend Susan, Sakura Snowfox / Susan the Karia fan. And the live dub is about a series called Danganronpa Next Generation, or SDR Next Generation, what have you. It's a good series, I highly recommend it. Unfortunately, I did not like the ending, which frustrated me a little bit. So, I want to so today basically I'm doing my interpretation of what I would do if I was writing the ending, or like a different interpretation, a fan fiction, if you will, basically. A fan fiction of a fan fiction, but I digress. Now, I want to preface this before I even begin and get the screen shares going. I'm not doing this because I think I could do a better job than the original author, nor am I saying that this is supposed to be a replacement. This is all in good fun, and I'm doing this because I genuinely loved the series, but I just felt like the ending was not up to snuff, and it had a lot of things I did not like. Keep in mind I'm saying did not like, and not, oh, this author is stupid. No, I genuinely respect their passion and how much effort they put into the series, because there is some really good stuff in it. I just was a little bit let down by the ending, and so basically I'm doing a fan fiction on it. This is, if I didn't care about the series, or I just flat out hated it, this very likely would not exist. I'm doing it because I'm genuinely passionate / enjoy the series. This is just merely an alternate interpretation, or fan fiction, if you will, and it's all in good fun. And I flat out admit, my version is likely not going to be as good as the original ending anyways. And I fully admit that. And if anybody has any concerns when I get into it, absolutely let me know in the chat, or if you watch this as a VOD later on, let me know in the comments. So, like I said though, if you haven't seen Super Danganronpa Next Generation, please read it at some point, because this is going to be going into spoilers up to chapter 5. Or at least up to the last page before the summary. Alright, so without any further delay, let's begin. Hopefully this can be read, otherwise I'm going to look like an idiot. Okay, so let me just pull my window over to the side so I can still read chat. Alright, so similar to the original, Hikaru brings Kiko to the music room before locking the door. However, in this version, Hikaru is with Tatsuo as well, and Hikaru explains that he brought Kiko here to prevent an incident. So, there's a reason for this. Now, originally, the original scene had Hikaru bring Kiko to the music room, explain a bunch of stuff, and then they leave. In this version, I added Tatsuo to the scene. And why is that? Well, here's where the first change comes in outside of the whole Tatsuo thing. It is here that Hikaru reveals that he was the traitor, and Kiko has to hold back Tatsuo, who is upset and attempts to attack Hikaru out of anger. So, up to this point, Monokuma was talking about the idea that there is both the traitor and a mastermind, someone who helped the mastermind bring everyone to the new Hope Speak Academy. Or Hope Speak Academy, anyways. Hikaru brings Kiko here as well as Tatsuo to basically prevent a situation like as you're seeing here, where Tatsuo would try to kill Hikaru out of anger because, you know, all their friends are dead, and all this is partially because of Hikaru. In this version, however, Kiko is here to prevent that somewhat. So, let's continue. Hikaru explains that he reawakened his memory of being the traitor after his near-death experience in Chapter 4, and he felt disgusted for what he did as the traitor, hence the darker eyes. So instead of it being he was slowly being corrupted by despair, or somewhat that, I explain it's because he was disgusted, he's frustrated, he hates that he did that, hence the darker eyes. So basically we have a traitor here that is genuinely disgusted that he did all this. He's remorseful. Okay. Now we get into Hikaru's different story here. Hiko choose him out for this, considering this entire killing game, but Hikaru explains that he only helped the mastermind because he wanted to run away from his struggles as an idol. And this is where another change comes in. In this story, he's a slave from the country the Fenrir mercenary group are from, and he's tasked to perform to keep the masses pacified. However, Hikaru never realized it would get this bad, and now he wants to end this game. I don't think we got much of a backstory out of Hikaru up to this point, so there wasn't really much for me to work off of. So in this version, I changed Hikaru's backstory, or added that in the area where the Fenrir mercenary group are, which apparently is somewhere in the Middle East. I don't think the game's ever clarified, but I digress. He was enslaved and forced to perform, keep the masses pacified because of all the stuff going on in that area. Next, Kasuo and Kiko are still angry at Hikaru, but they want to hear him out first before they beat the shit out of him, basically. And I think their frustration is kind of justified because, you know, so many fucking people died. Like, all for this fucking game. Hang on a second. Oh, okay. Sorry, I just got a message on Discord. Okay. Hikaru explains his plan to end the game off screen, and Kiko leaves the now unlocked room. Huff, while Tatsuo and Kiko talk. Wait. Hikaru. My apologies. I can read. Or I can write. Yeah, the plan will be brought up later, don't worry. Okay. Next. Takabe runs into Kiko and comforts them, while also apologizing for his behavior to Kiko in the earlier chapters. The two are able to reconcile before Kiko tells Takabe about Hikaru being the traitor, and then Takabe asks what happens now. Kiko then tells them to wait, and then the two decide to go to the arcade to detox. I thought of a joke where it's like Takabe's just playing the arcade and then the arcade just stops working. It's because it's like he's either cheating or something. Basically, he just hates his ass. Now, after the session, the temperature begins to drop a bit as part of Monokuma's threat the other day, which maybe it would get hotter, maybe it was get colder. I read the original thing and it said in the dialogue. I'll get to the spam post in a minute. It's after the session, because from the dialogue Monokuma wrote, maybe there was an edit on the comment section, but it basically talks about how, oh, like, if you don't kill the traitor, I'll lower the temperature. Apparently it's supposed to be heating up, but let's just go with it'll work itself out in a moment. And now I'm going to deal with the spam comment. I want to offer promotion of your channel, viewers, chatbots, etc. The price is lower than any competitor. Hello, relevant pasta. How about you use that money and go shove it up your fucking rectum, because that's all you seem to be good for. You stink. Oh, yeah, right. I forgot that the Twitch thing just does not work, at least on the phones. So I'll have to load up Twitch real quick and remove this comment, but basically relevant pasta stinks and should frankly shove their money up their own rectum. It's probably the only useful thing they've done in this lifetime. And I would feel bad about saying that, but because they're a bot, I have no sympathy to those people. They're shit. There we go. Okay. It also serves as a fucking message that if anyone's gonna fucking try and send me messages like advertising spam shit, they're gonna get they're gonna get basically demolished. Anyways. Only for Takabe to find a nearby thermostat for the academy and turn it back on, leading to a funny sequence where Monokuma and Takabe are just constantly resetting the temperature back until the thermostats both explode, and Monokuma just ends up abandoning the motive, leaving the school slightly hotter as a result. So even if it was intended to be, oh, if you don't kill the mastermind or the traitor, I will slightly increase the temperature, or I will slowly lower it, It works out either way. I'm sorry, I still can't wrap my head around the fucking, like, oh, I'll slowly lower the temperature. It's like, because then the robots wouldn't be working, which is what Monokuma is. Anyways, Danganronpa is kind of dumb at points, but anyways. Though Monokuma does shoot Gung near Takabe, only for it to miss by Takabe finding a penny on the floor. This is mainly just meant to be a humorous moment where it's like, oh, Monokuma is going to try and kill Takabe for fucking with the equipment, but then Takabe is like, oh, a penny, and then he just misses. Basically some humor. Okay. However, Mako comes in with a panicked look and says that she found a body in the kitchen. So, I know what some people who've read the summary are thinking. Oh, we're gonna be getting Hikaru's death. So the victim's revealed to be Kazuki Naegi. Yeah, so it is not Hikaru this time. Kazuki's dead. Yeah. Hiko and the others were shocked, and Tatsu was heartbroken, and Hikaru ends up having to comfort him, which, I mean, Tatsu appreciates despite despite everything that happened earlier. Because, like, right now fucking cousin died, so it's like, of course he's gonna be hurt. Sorry, I thought I saw something. Alright, so we get to the usual investigation, and then we get to the class trial. So during the fight, during the trial, much like in the original story, Tatashi would fight with Tatsuo, saying that he got Kazuki's secret, and it said that he could be involved in the killing game. And then Tatsuo fires back, saying the secrets are lies. Which is partially true, but anyways. So, how did Kazuki die? In the end, it's determined to be a knife through the head, but the killer is determined to be nobody. At least that's what the class agrees to. However, Monokuma answers that is wrong, and says they will all be executed while the blackened will go free. So who actually did it? However, as everyone is saying their goodbyes to each other, holding hands as they await the end, while the red dots hover over their heads, so they're basically about to be sniped, the dots go away. Monokuma is furious at this, but is then kicked to the side by a boot. Monokuma summons Gungnir once again, but is then deactivated by the figure. Oh, so it looks like we might have a 17th student? Not exactly. Despair is contagious. Everyone catches it. So who says? Is it Junko? Nope. Revealed to be Kazuki, but his purple hair was dyed, as shown with it dripping away due to the heat, revealing it's partially red, and he has a bandage on his head where the wound was. So Kazuki is alive. How the hell did that happen? Yes, well, we'll get to this. Everyone is surprised by this, but before they can welcome him back, Kazuki holds out his hand, telling them that this game is not over yet. Time for them to figure out why they came here in the first place. That will serve as the final trial, taking Monokuma's seat on the throne. Monokuma protests this, but Kazuki throws a knife at Monokuma to shut him up. I still don't know what you saw in you. You're born. Oh, okay, here we go. During this final trial, that Hikaru is revealed as the traitor, and Kazuki's murder was indeed caused by nobody. A shard of metal just fell off the ceiling and it hit Kazuki in the head. So literally nobody killed Kazuki, just got hit in the head, and as we can see here, it clearly wasn't in the brain, or at least it didn't go deep enough to kill him. But while Hikaru is the traitor, what was his plan, and who is the mastermind? Well, his plan was to kill the mastermind, and that would stop the game. At least, mind. Would that have actually worked? Hard to say. Largely because, well, I don't think we've had this before in the main Danganronpa series. Like maybe there's a fangan out there or a fan fiction, but in the official series we haven't really had a case where the mastermind dies and the game is stopped. Usually when the mastermind dies, it's the end of the game, but that's usually in the final chapter. Kazuki throws out how that may have worked, but then asks Hikaru who he thinks the traitor is. So Hiko is immediately out, since they had no knowledge of the first two killings. Or murders, whatever. The next person to be rooted out is Kakashi. Kakashi is the next out, since while he may have knowledge of how to attack / kill, he doesn't have the brains or drive to orchestrate this killing game. So if it's not Kiko, not Katashi, could it be like the original and it's Mako? Maybe. Eventually, it's revealed to be Kazuki who was the mastermind, the ultimate crime scene investigator. So, yeah, in this version, or this fanfiction, Kazuki was the mastermind the whole time. Okay, why isn't it? What the okay, why is it not? Anyways. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. I didn't highlight the full thing? Alright, whatever. Kazuki brought them to this academy for one reason. To end this cycle of hope and despair started by our parents. But they didn't realize that it would go on for this long, since I thought we would have learned from our parents about how to be better people in this kind of situation, and use our time to get out. But I guess not. So, basically Kazuki's reason for this whole killing game was to end this cycle once and for all. Unfortunately, they didn't account for it going on as long as it has, with a good majority of their classmates dead. Or at least half of them. Largely because Kazuki thought, I thought you guys would be better than this. Guess not. Takabe then asks about the hair situation. Why is it partially red? And Tatsuo is curious as well, since he never thought Kazuki dyed his hair. But Hikaru then notes something. Brown highlights were changing over the course of their time at the academy, so either he was changing to white naturally, or indigo, whatever you want to go with, or he was constantly dyeing it. In other words, I'm using something that was shown throughout the series. His hair gradually kept changing, and I use that as a plot point. Like, I know it's probably just meant to be art evolution, but here I'm doing a different take with it, in that, oh, this is actually a plot point. Like, it's a bit of foreshadowing. It's like, oh, that's why his hair was changing. Like, basically that. Alright, so here we get to the plot twist. It's at this point they realize the truth. Kazuki Naegi is the son of Makoto, Yoko, and Junko. Now, for those who may not know, because they may not have heard of Danganronpa 0, Junko's natural hair color is red. This is shown in Danganronpa 0 with her alter ego, Ryoko something. I forgot her last name. Give me a minute. I'm gonna throw up the picture in a second. Just gotta grab it. Otonashi, that was her name. So, Ryoko is the... Wait, what the fuck? Anyways, Ryoko is the amnesiac Junko, basically, but I think it was actually said in the games that, like, yeah, I think it was said that she dyed or bleached her hair. So it was already indicated that her natural hair color was not blonde. Okay, I think I found it. There we go. Like, this is... Okay, the hairstyle is not natural, but whatever. Just whatever. But yeah, Junko's natural hair color is red. It's largely because by the time she was Ryoko in the Danganronpa 0 series, her bleached hair, like, she wouldn't have access to it, so it'd be fading out or whatever. And as we see here, this is official artwork, red. That's basically it. Alright, let me delete that image and we'll get back into... Okay, this floors everyone. But Kazuki throws down his secret note, which has Kiko read out. Everyone, or read out. I can read. Alright, so how exactly is Kazuki the son of Makoto, Kyoko, and Junko? Is it like a three-way relationship like with Kiko? No. It's different. Okay, so let's get to this. Most of the secrets were fake. This was one of them, however, that was real. In addition, when Kirigiri went in for a checkup before the egg that would eventually create Kazuki began to properly form, Junko disguised as someone else who administered her shot. Could be a cold or allergy, flu shot, whatever. And it partially overwrote some of Kyoko's cells with Junko's cells. And it also overrode a good chunk of Kyoko's cells in the egg with Junko's. As for the red hair, everyone just wrote it off as an anomaly. So, how would Junko be alive at this point? Good question. How are a good chunk of the characters' parents alive at this point? My guess is that with the story, it's meant to be an AU where there was either no killing game or everyone got their lives back, like at the end of 3, where all the Danganronpa 2 cast was alive. So maybe that's what happened. Who knows? I'm going off the idea that there was killing games in the past. Since otherwise, like, long story there. But maybe it's possible that the characters were either revived later or other shit happened. Point being, Junko did Needle Thing, and yeah, a good chunk of Kazuki's data is Makoto's and Junko's, but Kyoko's still there partially. Although not many people would notice because, and I think some people may not know this, but Junko is actually pretty intelligent, so it's like it could... So whenever Kazuki had his intelligent moments, people could just say, oh, that's just like the Kyoko part, not knowing it could also be Junko's. Like, effectively that. Plus, I think in some of the backstories, like, you can look at the hair that Kazuki as a kid has, and you could see it as a bit brown, but it could also be red because it's black and white and everything. So it could work either way. It's a darker color, basically. Kazuki then goes on to explain that while being the child of the ultimate hope and despair gave them the... Kazuki goes on to explain that being the child of the ultimate hope and despair gave them the perfect opportunity to end this cycle since it started with Makoto and Junko, and it will end with both of them. So how will it end with both of them? Well, here we get to something. The podiums will then have 2 buttons pop out. Some people may think this is kind of familiar, and that's the point, but we'll get to that. I know you want me to suffer for including you in this game and having our friends die. That is one of the options. Press the left button, and the blade of Gungnir will end my life. Press the right button, and something else happens. Your choice. So if everybody hits the left button, Kazuki's gonna be dead by the blade of Gungnir, or whatever it's called. Gungnir, basically. But something else will happen if everyone hits right. So Kazuki's fate is literally in the hands of their friends. And this should be a difficult choice because, well, yes, it's the mastermind, but Kazuki was also their friend. But here we go. Everyone else is unsure. What if this is a trick? But Kiko steps up. Now we get to Kiko's lines. We're done taking orders. We're our own person at the end of the day. We decide what we want. That's what makes us human. Forget hope, forget despair. We're a person, and I will decide my own fate. Kiko then hits the right button. Tashi sighs. Tashi, whatever. For so long, I couldn't do anything to help anyone. But now, I've got this power. This choice to help everyone, to help my sister, my parents, my friends, and I choose to use it. Tashi then hits the right button as well. Takabe also hits the button on the right. We've gotten by so far by us working together. No point in stopping now. Besides, I don't want to face Saichan and Aina with regrets. Mako then hits the right button. Even though we may not have known each other for very long, everyone here matters a lot to me, and I'm tired of seeing those I care about die in front of me. Sophie then hits the right button. Hiko is right. We'll decide our fate from now on, and I choose to keep on living with my friends by my side. That's what Eri would also want. Tatsuo then hits the right button. I don't care if you have part of Junko's blood in you, Kazuki. You're still my cousin, and I still care all about you. Besides, I already saw you die once. I don't want to go through that again for a long, long time. Finally, Hikaru hits the right button. Time for us to be better than what our parents went through here, and I choose to end this game. Kazuki is surprised about this decision. He had expected them to let him die. Are you sure about all this? You don't know what will happen after all. Oh, there it is. I can read. Okay. Hiko then chimes in. Maybe. Maybe not. But no matter what happens, we'll face it together. And by facing it together, I mean I can fail to hit the fucking automatic button. There we go. Kazuki smiles. You've done it. You beat this killing game. Good job. Kazuki then hits the button on the right, and the Monokuma blows up, followed by the spare Monokumas, and then the remaining Monokuma units around the world. The killing game is officially over, and the 8 survivors walk out, greeted by the Future Foundation and their parents, showing up who are okay. So yeah, all 8 survivors, they made it. So what happens now? Most of the survivors' fates in the epilogue are generally the same as the original version. However, Takebi's Tatsuo's editor instead of Kazuki, and Kazuki is now responsible for dealing with the remains of Junko's despair as punishment for the killing game. Mako, on the other hand, is a relief worker, and Hikaru is dating Tatsuo after being freed from enslavement by the Foundation. Then the final shot is still the survivors visiting the grave of their fallen friends. The end. And that's it. Try the right thing. Okay. And that's it for this alternate version. So 8 people survive. Kazuki is the mastermind in this. And Hikaru is still the traitor. That's really about it. So I'm just gonna give it a couple minutes and then I'll end the stream early just because there was really not much I had else to say. But I can dedicate the rest of this stream, or as much as I can, to just answering any questions slash yeah, or basically that. So if anybody has any questions or thoughts on this retelling or fanfic, let me know. Just gonna give it a couple minutes here. Probably get some music playing actually while we think about it. How did I read Beyond the Map? Whatever.
Without a sign.
Okay. I think that was enough time. And besides, if anybody has any questions, I can always ask them in the comments of the VOD and the like, so that's okay. That basically concludes today's live stream, at least my portion. I'll be back at about 5, so a couple hours to do the direct live stream. Not sure if I'll have guests for this one, largely just because I don't know what's going to happen since everybody's going to be a little busy at points, so we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll be able to pull it off. I know I can, I know I have everything set up. It's just a matter of if people will be available. If it is, it is. If it isn't, it isn't. I'm still going to stream the direct regardless as V, but yeah. Anyways, I'm just going to set up a raid. We're going to go raid Heaton, who's doing some artwork, and yeah. Basically all I got for this. And yeah, for now though, we're just going to head on over to Heaton. They're currently doing some art stuff, and yeah, that is all I gotta say. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you later, basically. Have a good one.